Crash happened so quickly. That car came out of nowhere. You fell before you even realized that it was slippery or that stair step was loose. Injuries can happen before you even have time to make sense of the situation. And then it seems like the calls start right away. It could be an insurance adjuster hounding you for a recorded statement, or maybe the doctor's office wanting to know how you're going to pay for those medical bills and that future treatment. Your boss may be wanting to know, when are you going to come back to work? While you're left dealing with pain, medical appointments, missed work, a claim process that already seems more complicated than it needs to be. If you were hurt in a car crash, a trucking accident, maybe an accident at work, a trip and fall, or some other type of serious injury in Lancaster, Grant County, or anywhere in western Wisconsin, you may be wondering whether you need a Lancaster Personal Injury Lawyer. Under Wisconsin personal injury law, the details can make a big difference. Things like auto accident rules, insurance policies, premises liability laws, product liability statutes, and important deadlines that you may not even know exist. I'm Craig Steger. I'm a personal injury attorney with more than 20 years of experience handling serious injury cases, including trials against big insurance companies and corporations. Here are 3 things you should know after a Lancaster personal injury. First of all, you don't have to give a recorded statement, especially to the other driver or other person's insurance company. You have a right to speak with an attorney first. Insurance adjusters like to make it sound like this is routine and that you have no choice, or that they just want your side of the story. And they may tell you that they're just trying to move your claim along. But if you're still in pain, or maybe you're on medication, recovering from a surgery, or just confused and overwhelmed by the situation, a recorded statement can make some real problems later on. Right after an injury, you may not yet know the full extent of your injuries. Your doctors may not even know that yet. You may not know whether there was any witnesses and what they saw or heard. You may not yet know whether there was video that showed the entire thing, or whether some defective condition or product may have contributed to the accident or your injuries. You may not know whether there was safety rules violated, or whether the other driver was intoxicated or breaking some other rule at the time. And you may not yet know who's responsible and which insurance company or companies may be responsible for your damages. So before you give a recorded statement, you need to understand who's asking for it, which insurance company they represent, and whether you're legally required to give it. Second, try to photograph and document the scene as best as possible and as soon as possible. This is especially important when your injury involves some sort of temporary condition. If you've slipped on some ice, that ice can melt or get treated with salt. Or if that broken step that hadn't been repaired in many years suddenly got fixed, or the wet floor got mopped right away. Cars and other equipment get moved, repaired, or sometimes lost entirely. Farm machinery gets moved or repaired. That dangerous condition that was obvious today may be gone tomorrow. If you can do it safely, have you or someone else take photos and video of the entire scene from different angles and distances. Try to show whatever condition it was that caused or contributed to the injury, the surrounding areas, any vehicle damage especially, or the equipment involved. Get pictures of license plates and any names or contact information, logos on the sides of the trucks or other equipment. Try to capture any physical evidence that may explain what happened. If you can, get the names and phone numbers of any witnesses and try to find out what they may have seen or heard. You want to write down what happened while it's still fresh in your mind. You don't want to wait months later to do that. There may be surveillance video from a nearby gas station, home, or other business that may have captured some or all of the incident. That video needs to get requested immediately, otherwise it tends to get deleted or recorded over later on. In a Lancaster personal injury claim, video evidence can be the difference between a strong case and an insurance company that denies your claim entirely. Third, and probably most importantly, get medical attention right away and follow your doctor's recommendations. This isn't the time to tough it out. Delaying treatment can not only hurt your health, it could damage your case later on. So get checked out. Tell your providers what hurts, where it hurts, and things that make it worse. Now, don't exaggerate, but also don't minimize your injuries either. If your neck hurts, tell them your neck hurts. If it's your back, where in your back and what types of things make it worse. Maybe it's your knees, shoulder, head, or your ribs hurt. Make sure they know that too, even if some symptoms are far worse than others. If your symptoms get worse over time or certain activities contribute to them and make them worse or interfere with your sleep and things like that, make sure you let your doctors know that as well. Try to follow the treatment plan. Go to any appointments they schedule, and if you can't make them, make sure you let them know in advance. If they refer you to a specialist or have some additional testing or imaging done, make sure you follow up with that and do what they ask you to do. If you're sent to physical therapy, take it seriously, do the home exercises, and make sure you complete the entire therapy, even if you start to feel better midway through it. You see, insurance companies love delays. They look for gaps in treatment or missed doctor's appointment. They look for any excuse to argue that you probably weren't really hurt, or if you were hurt, that you recovered very quickly. Now, see, good medical care not only protects your health, but it helps create that important documentation that you'll need later on to prove a claim for the injuries that you sustained in the accident. A serious injury case isn't just a bunch of paperwork. It's your health. It's your work, your family, possibly your future. And in the worst cases, it may become a case where the family needs answers from a wrongful death lawyer. If you have questions after a serious injury in Lancaster or the surrounding area, please talk to an attorney as soon as possible. And in the meantime, if you want to understand what happens next, watch the next video on the screen or one of the pinned videos below where I explain the entire process of a Wisconsin personal injury claim from start to finish.